Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Welcome to our beautiful set. Gosh, it's so pretty in here.
It's so fancy.
Amy's here. She is here because this is what she does now.
This is my job.
This is your job. This is a real job.
No.
And if your kids are anything like mine, though they may believe it and they may not, my kids are always still like, yeah, but what do you do? Yeah. I'm like, I can't with it. I work. Remy's always like, well, I mean, I guess you just like are on a laptop. I'm like, I mean, I guess at the bottom of the foundation, but like there's work in here.
The best part for me is I work from home mostly with my other job.
Yes.
On a laptop.
Well.
So, but now I leave the house.
This feels like a real job.
I have to go to work.
That's right. You're like, don't mind me. I put on blush.
Right. And pants. Well, leggings. But
leggings are pants in this context.
Not pajamas. I mean, when I say I work from home, like hardcore, pajamas till 2 p.m.
Sure.
So, yeah,
and
I'm here.
You did walk into this studio today and say, did you notice that I put on makeup? And what I said to her, which was correct, is what you mean by that you took your Burt's Bees tinted lip gloss or lip balm and put it on your cheeks? And she's like, well, yes. So, I mean, that's makeup technically.
It is.
Okay, I give it to you.
And it might be a 3-in-1 product. I don't know because I need new glasses.
Oh, like where else could it go? Your eyelids? One on your mouth, one on your cheeks.
I've seen this like on Instagram ads that these products exist.
You're getting Instagram influence for makeup? Do they know you?
No.
That is the algorithm is failing you.
Well, I mean, I try really hard. You were talking about like fancy shoes the other day.
Oh.
And you kept saying, I'll just send it to you.
Oh.
And I said, no, don't.
Yeah, you did.
I don't want to click on that.
You did say that.
I want my feed, what I need for my feed.
Yeah.
Raccoons, like bean salads I'm never going to make, and Dave Grohl. Every day I need a little bit of that, and I don't need makeup or shoes, but it sneaks in sometimes.
Has the algorithm given you what you need? Do you have those things? Raccoons?
Yes.
You have raccoons in your feed?
I mean, because I follow raccoon accounts.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Like raccoons doing funny things, or like maybe like pet raccoons who are like, like wildlife rehab sort of things, not just people willy-nilly having raccoons in their home. But anyway, it's excellent content. And yes, I've curated it.
Okay. Do you know, I don't know how this has happened. I understand that the algorithm is spying on us at all times. I know that because, you and I will say something just in the air and it'll show up in my phone. It's real. But I don't know how this has happened. And I don't know why. I must have hovered over something too long. But I'm telling you, every third thing on Instagram for me is the feeds where a chiropractor is cracking someone's back or neck. And they put like a little microphone on it. So it's like, Well, I'll tell you what. I will sit there and watch it for 25 minutes. It's working. But I don't know how they knew this about me. I've never even been to the chiropractor in my life. So why does it think I wanted this?
I walk into the studio every week and talk about my decrepit body. So it may have picked me up on your Wi-Fi.
My God.
I think the Wi-Fi, like your router, has something to do with it.
That is it.
I'm so sorry.
Your back made me know about this.
I've probably Googled stuff on your Wi-Fi too.
Oh my God. This is making so much sense. If I start getting raccoon stuff, I swear to God, I'm not joking. Okay. You guys, we have such a good show today. You're going to love this interview. You're going to love. We have Kendra Adachi on the show today, and you may know her by her moniker, which is the Lazy Genius. So smart. She's been on the show before, and also she's one of my favorite followers or follows. You follow her, and you have been following her. Anyway, I don't want to give it all away, but it's good. If you feel, let me just put it like this. If you feel in any way overwhelmed, stretched too thin, not enough hours in a day, and all of that packaged with a nice little veneer of self-loathing, this is your episode. Like, stick around. But before we get to it, we're going to do a little segment we like to call Rant or Rave.
It's time for rant or rave, where we rant or we rave.
Now, in honor of our guest, we're going to do a little Rant or Rave Lazy Genius edition, because her whole deal is be a genius about the things that matter to you and be lazy about all the rest of it. So first of all, I love that. So she's got a bunch of like hacks and ideas for some of the things that tend to like drain us dry like a energy vampire. And one of them is meal planning. So we're going into Rant or Rave. By the way, we only get 3 minutes for this. I am setting an alarm because we take time management seriously around here.
Oh, do we?
Absolutely do not. I mean, we mean to. Okay, here. We've got 3 minutes. You're going to go first. I mean, we don't each get 3 minutes. So here's our timer. You can see it right here.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Rant or rave meal planning?
Rave, for sure. The rant part is about adopting and abandoning all the different meal planning systems. And then like feeling like a failure and giving up and then like not having anything for 6 months. But then I always get back on the bandwagon because I have a lot of people in my house.
Yes.
And
And some weird food stuff that you have to care about.
yes, food allergies,
Yes.
like I just have to plan it. My current iteration though, it's actually working for me. It's my Google Calendar, and I just, you know how you can, there's like a holiday calendar and maybe work and school. I just have a meal planning sub calendar with its own color. And that way I can like just click and drag stuff. Like I set up pizza for every Friday and it's orange.
I kind of like that.
And then I can go back and easily look at my calendar. Like I don't need recipes anymore. I don't need shopping lists. It doesn't need to be over-engineered. Like for years I
Over-engineered.
over-engineered, but also like cooked everything from scratch, like addressing everyone's allergies. I can do it.
Yeah.
It's just organizing it
Okay.
ahead of time.
Okay.
So I do like the system, and I'm like, there's some weeks that I forget to do it and whatever, people eat sandwiches, but I keep going back to it. I like it.
Okay. Okay. You used exactly 1.5 minutes of our 3 minutes.
Look at
That was
you.
really good time management.
I have actually been wondering about this with you. Like you used to,
see.
you wrote a cookbook about cooking for, you know,
A lot of people.
a lot of people.
Yeah.
And now sometimes it's just you.
I'm somewhere in between rant or rave now. Like, in the olden days, I had to do this, or I guess we'd all starve. I don't know. But now there's less people here, although some of them are still here because I don't know why.
Yes.
Because I don't know why.
They came back.
They won't leave. But I do this I do Instacart. So this is one way that I save myself 1 zillion hours, is that I have my groceries delivered. And I know that is probably, I don't know what that is, but I'm not sorry.
I do too.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I have an order of my staples that I just hit add all to cart every single time. I always need them. I always need the bread. I always need the milk. I always need the turkey, whatever it all is. Like I have my, so I never think about that. That is a zero thought process for me. Load to cart. And then I am down to generally planning, oh my God, I don't know how this is going to sound, but about 2 to 3 meals that I'm going to cook that I add on top of it. So
Oh.
I just put it right in cart and then
That's
it comes to my porch.
meal
So to
planning.
me, I like that.
It sounds like you've adopted Kendra's mantra of the current season that you're in, make adjustments,
Yes.
like have a system.
Yes.
It's flexible.
That's
it's not a
right.
failure if you don't do it every single day.
Yeah, and last year's plan isn't always this year's plan.
Right.
So, okay. So that was mostly a rave for us.
Yes, for sure for me.
Yeah. Okay. One more segment before we onboard Kendra in here because she's smart. This is, of course, I think my favorite of all of our segments, which is Gen Excellence.
It's time for a little Gen Excellence. You're really gonna love some Gen Excellence.
We are clearly Gen Xers. We are right in the pocket. And so I cannot wait to hear what you say about this. Looking backward on our days of being a young person, young women, or whatever. So I'm going to just be it broad. This could be high school or college, or let's just think loosely teens to 20s. Okay. That era of our life. What was a fashion choice, a fashion trend that you loved, but in retrospect, it was just terrible? But at the time, you were like, look at me. Look at me. I'd like to hear what you think about this.
Mine is none of my things that I have good memories of are going to be rooted in look at me.
No, you're right.
But,
Okay, maybe a very quiet internal voice that is like, I mildly like how I look today. Is that closer? I'm okay. I'm fine today.
I absolutely have something
Okay.
that I loved, but I loved it because of the efficiency, and I didn't know it at the time, but it was like the birth of my uniform mindset.
I'm just trying to think if I can guess what you're about to say. Can you tell me how old you were?
High school.
Okay.
High school, sophomore, junior, so 87, 88.
And this was the birth of your uniform, which what she means by that is her uniform is black clothes every day, head to toe. That's just, frankly, I've almost never seen you in anything else in 15 years. So
90% of the time,
you're literally wearing it right now.
black dress, black leggings.
yeah.
Because I can't.
Does it have to do with the color black?
It's just easier.
Okay, I'm sorry. I've interrupted your story about when you were 15 or 16.
Yes. Units. Do you remember?
Stop it, do I remember? I wore units to my sophomore homecoming dance.
Where did it go? Why did it go away?
Oh my God.
Listen, you could wear, I personally did not wear the belt as a skirt.
Did you wear it as a tube top? I know you didn't. I'm joking.
Also,
I didn't
No.
either because that was in my modest days because of God. So we didn't show shoulders. Oh my Lord.
but it could just be it didn't matter what combination was washed and ironed, because we ironed things in the 80s. It didn't matter. You could always choose something and put it together. And then if you were, back when I cared about these things, I was like, well, I wore this with the V in the front last week, so I'll wear it with the V in the back. So it's not exactly the same thing, but it was it just capsule wardrobe.
Well, yeah.
The store was
Beautiful. Cubbies. It was an organizer's dream.
dream. And I actually have OCD. So
Yeah.
going to the store and picking something out was hit all of the marks. I loved
weird.
units.
We
And
were
then it just
just talking about
went
this.
away.
Well, it was certainly trendy, which means it didn't have a lot of staying power. They literally built an entire brand on one style that just didn't have any flexibility, had nowhere to go.
Exactly.
Once that was out of style, they're like,
Listen, I would still be wearing it.
God, you really would. Also, I am jealous of you. Maybe I just don't remember this, but I didn't feel like I could afford units. I had one units outfit. It was royal blue, and I got it with a white scrunchy belt.
Yes.
And I wore this to homecoming. And I just thought nobody could tell me nothing. Nobody could tell me nothing in my units. But I didn't have any more. Were you fancy? We were a little bit poor.
No, I wasn't fancy at all. In fact, I had a clothing budget every year, a tight clothing budget. My parents said, you need to learn to budget. You have this much money. You can do what you want. Like, if you're smart about it, you'd buy more than one pair of jeans. But I learned pretty quickly, like, oh, I could go to this place, get just a few pieces,
That's true.
and then that's all I wore.
Just switch them all around. Put the V
Yes.
in the back.
Yes.
And it's like a new shirt.
And then you borrow your friends.
That's true.
So,
That's so true.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Thanks.
I wonder if you think you have a picture of yourself in units somewhere.
Why do you always want a picture
I just do.
of everything?
I want to see you in your units, and I am thinking right now, God, I wonder if I do. But I only had the one. I only had the one outfit.
Well, if it was homecoming, Janet King took a picture. Well,
So
no.
that means it's maybe still on film in a bread sack in her attic.
Right.
Okay? That's what that means. That doesn't mean anything at all. Mom literally one time gave each of us a bread sack of printed photos, and she's like, do you want these? I'm like, God, I guess. That was the best she could do. We didn't, she's not, that's not gonna be her thing. Okay, mine is short, but, well, it's not ever short. But I remember doing this, and I thought it was so cute at the time. At the time, I thought, well, I am adorable. And this is early 20s. So I feel like I had kids. I mean, I had kids, I think, which is sad. But there was this situation where you could take your strands of hair from all here and do them in little rows and like do a little twisty twist. And then right back here, you'd clip it with a little butterfly clip, the teeny tinies. And I would do like 6 perfectly even rows. I mean, I would line that stuff up with my like comb, and I'd do my little twist, and then I'd have like boop, 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 butterfly, sort of translucent-y butterfly clips back here. And I just thought, oh, and then I kind of like to tease the back, like the sprout that came out of the back, the hair sprout. I'd give it a little tease and then a little spray. And I just thought I should have my own show, like on the Disney Channel, as like the cool big sister. Because, I was only like 24, even though I was a mom. I thought that was really cute. But now when old pictures from that era come up and I see that we all had that hairdo, it's so not cute. It's just not cute at all. And it wasn't cute to begin with, frankly. And then my jeans were so low. Oh. They were so low. And I thought that was so cute.
I can see the whole look,
Yeah.
head to toe.
Yeah.
But like, and someone's face is there. It's not yours. It's probably someone like from the Disney Channel. They're like,
Yeah.
I can see the whole
like
thing
Ashley Tisdale.
put together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was probably like my inspo board, where all those like 14-year-olds on Nickelodeon.
Right.
So anyways, I'm sorry about that. I always say, at least that'll never come back. But you know what? We do not know that.
It will.
We do not know that.
I mean, you've conjured it probably.
The stuff that comes back around, I'm just like, how did it? How could it? But it does.
But these days it lasts for like a day and a half.
That's a good point.
And then something else comes
That's a
up.
good point.
So it'll be fine.
All right, you guys, thank you for being in the weeds with us for a minute, but it's time. It's time to bring back to the show Kendra Adachi, the lazy genius of our dreams. She's the best. Let me tell you about Kendra in case she's new to you, because you're about to love her. So let me just get you ready for this. She's a New York Times bestselling author. She's a podcaster. She's a wife. She's a mom. She's got 3 kids. She went to college to become a high school English teacher, but instead became the lazy genius. Don't worry about it. It was a good move. So what that means practically is that she is actually a guru in teaching people how to curate their energy and their time so that they are focused on doing what matters to them, leaving behind the rest, and not operating out of this constant sense of overwhelm, chaos, and shame. Right? Anybody? Hi. So you might know her, and if you don't, you should, from her podcast, which is called The Lazy Genius. Her first best-selling book was called The Lazy Genius Way. And then she was on the show in November of 2020 in a series that we called For the Love of Small Wins. She's got this really great approach to big systems, which is go small. Like, do not burn everything down and start from, why don't you just do this easiest, smallest, next right thing? And it's kind of a revolutionary idea for me, frankly. So anyway, she's got a new book coming out on October 8th, and it is called The Plan. Manage your time like a lazy genius. Who doesn't need this? Who?
Everybody.
Yeah, that's correct.
And me.
And same. Please enjoy this conversation with Amy and me and the absolutely wonderful Kendra Adachi. All right. Welcome back to the show. I'm so delighted to see your cute, wonderful face.
Thank you for having my face and with all those welcomes. It's such a treat to be here.
We've got a ton of things that we want to talk to you about, but I want to talk first. Let's just do this. You've been on the show before. I think you were on in 2020. That was a great year.
That was a great year. We were all doing
I really
thriving.
missed 2020.
Thriving.
Yeah. Everyone was just thriving. So for people who either didn't hear that the last time you were on, or they're new to you today, we have a ton of crossover in our communities. My people love you. That's just how it is. So for the handful that are like, who's Kendra, the prayer angel? Can you talk just a little bit about just the lazy genius ecosystem? Because this is your deal. And I'm telling you, I don't struggle a whole lot with envy, but you nailed your branding here. Lazy genius is the smartest, funniest thing I've ever heard.
Thank you.
And I love it for you.
Thank you.
And also, I'm jealous of it.
Sure.
So just gonna put that.
Well, the fun fact, people always ask me, how did you come up with such a great name? And I have to tell them, it was Emily P. Freeman who came up with that name, who's been on your show before. Like, it wasn't my idea at all. It was her. And I went, oh, that's it. That's what it is. Thanks for being so smart, pal.
Her brain, man. She's got a lot going on.
She
up
does.
top.
She's so good at things. So the lazy genius ecosystem. I was writing on the internet for a long time, as many of us were in the early aughts, and I just started to notice how many women in particular were just stressed out about everything. You know, everyone was stressed out, everyone was tired, and at that time, not a lot of people were talking about that. It was either all or nothing. It was either get it all together, how do you do it all, or, hot mess. It was one or the other. And I didn't feel like either of those people. I had tried to be both. I had tried to be the one who did it all great and had it all together, a genius, shall we say, about things. And then when I realized that was not a sustainable way to live, I swung to the other side and was lazy about everything. Like, well, I don't care. I don't care about anything, because I thought that caring meant that I was sort of still on the roller coaster of trying, So I thought I just had to try hard or give up. Those are my two options. And those are not the only two options, everybody. There's a wide middle between try hard and give up. And so that's when I pivoted my online writing to this space, to the lazy genius ecosystem, as you called it, which is, let's be a genius about the things that matter and lazy about the things that don't. And everyone gets to choose what those things are. So you can care about things. You can work hard at things. You can have, I don't love this conflation of someone who has a clean house is somehow pretending or fake or trying too hard. Maybe you just really love having a clean house and it feels good for things to be in their place. It makes you feel more like yourself. Let's not begrudge that woman for her clean house. Just in the same way that if someone's like, I don't care about my children eating vegetables that are not out of a can. I don't care. I can't. I just can't. let them. You know, like we all can make our decisions without looking down on or judging someone's motivations of why they're choosing that. Just name what matters to you. Be a genius about the things that matter and lazy about the things that don't. In whatever season of life you're in. And I think you're going to be a lot happier that way.
Why can't we live like that?
I try. I listen to her podcast.
No, I know. Like, it's such a simple formula. And what I like so much about that is let's just pluck right off the whole thing about like judgment or shame or like even a template. Like, nobody gets to lay a template on a life and say, this is how to do it well. And this is either too much or too little.
That's right.
That has never worked for me either.
It doesn't work for anyone. And it doesn't even work when you think you've come up with your own template yourself and you put your own template on your life. Because I think that's what we sometimes think we're supposed to do, is we need to kind of MacGyver together all of these different tips and tricks and ways that, you know, well, this successful person did this thing and she seems cool and like she's doing a great job. Let's get up when she gets up. Like we try to put together this formula and this big system. So like, Amy, you said, I try to do that. And I think that we forget that the paradigm that we all live under in a Western capitalistic patriarchal society is not one that supports what I'm talking about in many ways. And so it's hard to do because we're a little salmon. Don't salmon swim upstream? Is that the fish that swims upstream?
Pretty sure.
They do.
We're just all beautiful pink salmon trying to do our thing and go. And it's very, very hard because the waters that we live in really do not support this kind of idea. So it's the problem is not you, is what I'm saying. The problem is not you.
Well, this is why I keep listening to your podcast. And, I mean, I have implemented so many things that have been really helpful. Like, the best is don't organize things you don't need. Like, that's one of I just decided, and then that's how I do things. But sometimes because of the ecosystem we're in, you do have to hear things over and over and over for it to like finally click. And I don't know what episode it was, but one time I was listening and you said it was about to-do lists, and you just made a quip that your to-do list is not the boss of you. It's a tool. And everyone has said that. Like, I do really listen to the voices that say there's no morality in housekeeping. Like, these are morally neutral things. Like, everyone's doing their best. But somehow I still let it be the boss of me so often.
It's my dictator.
Like, I pick a system. This is the best system right now. Like, I do acknowledge the season I'm in. But once I commit to it, then, like, I have to do everything in order. And if I've doubled down on color coding, then if I mess it up, then I start over from the beginning, like write a new to-do list sort of thing. But you said one day, it's not the boss of you.
You're free.
And I honestly say that like in my own life to the humans that live in my house. You're not the boss of me.
Right.
And I realized, why would I let my to-do list be the boss of me?
That you created.
That I created. So just keep
saying
reminding
that.
us.
Yeah, keep telling us.
Yes.
Well, we do need to be reminded of all. I mean, I just left my 3 children in the house, and my oldest is about to turn 15, and I still have to tell him to move his toothbrush to different parts of his mouth when he brushes his teeth. You know, it's like we're all sort of a 15-year-old boy in some areas of our lives. I really think that. Like, there's this element of like, it's fine. Or it doesn't stick. There's something that just doesn't absorb. But I will say this. One of the reasons why I believe we feel that way about our to-do list, we feel that way about the systems that we build, that we need the reminder that our to-do list is not our boss, is because the goal that we have been taught by the productivity time management industry Their goal for us is greatness. It is to be great. It is to be the best. It is to be optimized. It is to get everything aligned. And all of that alignment is in service to this ideal future that we are supposed to picture every January. What do you want your life to look like in a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? And then we reverse engineer that ideal and visible future that we have no control over, by the way, that we might not even get to. We are told and taught to reverse engineer that future, and that all the choices you make today should be in service to that goal of greatness.
That is some pressure.
It is, Jen. It's too much pressure. That's why, Amy, you still need the reminder that your to-do list is not your boss, because guess what? The other people in this industry actually would say kind of that your to-do list is sort of your boss. Maybe it's not your boss, but it's like you guys are co-bosses together because you need it to move forward in this way. So I am just trying to, it is a huge paradigm shift. I'm trying to give some language to people who don't want that goal, whose goal is like, can I just be a person today? Is it okay to be content with my life the way it is today? Yes, it is. It is. That's not for everyone. We just got the Olympics this year. Those are people who you don't get to that place if you choose to be, if you sort of choose contentment in certain areas, right? You're going to be great. That's the goal because that's your goal. But not everybody has to have that goal. But the industry tells us in some way we do. That is the capitalistic, patriarchal, optimized way. And it's not, guys. There's a different goal. There's a different way. I promise.
It's true. And there's the language around it constantly refreshes. So there's always kind of a new iteration of it, but it has the same feeling of like, well, like a little bit of a crush,
Yeah.
a soul crush, like one of the ones that is making the rounds a lot the last couple of years. And God, I feel bitchy saying this because I know the intention. I do. Like, I understand the intention on instruction. Everyone's trying to help you in some way, but the whole thing about like, don't break a promise you made to yourself. Like, keep a promise that you gave to yourself. And so then in the me versus me war, we're both losing.
You're both losing.
Like, I guess I don't even love my own self
That's right.
to do what myself told myself to do. Like, that spiral for me, like never break a promise to yourself, also feels like pressure.
Yeah, because
like,
it is pressure.
Because I will break a promise.
100%.
I sure as hell will.
Of course, we
break
all
a
will.
promise to myself.
Yes.
Because I was tired that day.
That's
or
right.
Whatever.
That's right. That's the thing is like we don't pay attention to today, to where we are today, and especially the y'all are gonna love this. So 93% of time management productivity books are written by men.
That tracks.
So here's the thing.
Let's talk more
Let's
about
talk
that.
more about
Let's
that real
hear
quick.
you talk about
so
that.
here's the thing. And listen, I'm friends with some of those dudes. I'm here for dudes. I love them truly. However, there are three things they do not have that I believe are kind of integral to managing one's time. One is, frankly, a boss. Like if you're an author, you probably are your own boss. So telling someone how to structure their time, you have the freedom to say, well, don't check your email after 2, or try to take a day off. Try to tell a nurse that. You can't do that. You can't, that's just not how most of the world lives. So male authors and authors in general, including myself, don't have a boss. The second thing male authors do not have, they do not have the cultural expectation and pressure to hold the invisible mental load labor of the entire home, whether they live on their own or not, but they don't do that. That's not expected of them. And it is expected of women. The third thing that they do not have are periods. They don't have.
They don't have even a uterus.
They don't have a uterus. They don't have hormones that change week to week for them. And all three of those things, bosses, the mental load, and hormones, are very unruly things that are going to impact our time on a daily basis. So if you have authors who don't have those three crucial things that women do have, we live in this paradigm of greatness in the future, right? That our goal is greatness and we're trying to serve an invisible future. If you've got those two things together and you're like, I just can't, I know I said that I was going to go to bed with a clean sink. Or I know I said that I was going to move my body 30 minutes every, whatever. But today I have been crying for 3 hours because somebody said something to me yesterday that is now starting to metabolize. And I had to help a kid with really hard homework when he came home from school, and I got nothing left. So not only I need to go to bed with dishes still in the sink. There might not be any dishes anyway because we're ordering pizza because I'm not making dinner tonight. Like that sort of freedom is seen as settling, giving up, or an exception. Like that's exceptional behavior. It's sort of like the language, which I don't love this language, but it's similar to the language around like eating dessert. It's like, yeah, everything in moderation, or like a little treat is fine or whatever. It's like, yeah, you can sort of pay attention to what you need occasionally, but like don't do it too much because then you're breaking promises to yourself. It makes me sad. First, it makes me angry, and then it makes me sad because of all of the women in particular, but also men, but all of the people who are conditioned to see their time in such an unkind way, such a disconnected way. Like, can we just be who we are, where we are today, with kindness and compassion? That helps us be kind and compassionate to the people that we live with, wherever they are today, however they're feeling today. Like, it's just missing. There's this huge root system that's missing from how we talk about time. And we need to put some different roots in the ground, people.
And it's not about work ethic at all. Like, if you look at our grandmothers and great grandmothers, they did wash on Monday and whatever on Tuesday and did have this system. And I know sometimes we emulate that. But our world is just so different. It's constant. It's nonstop. Like, so many balls in the air, more so than in previous generations. And so, yeah, I think we need to be so gentle with ourselves and not always feel like a failure.
Yeah.
If stuff doesn't get, it can get done tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But I really, truly didn't believe that for years.
Even this second, I can still feel the inside voice going, but are you being efficient?
Mm-hmm. Right.
But could you have also accomplished this today? It's real baked into the sauce.
It is.
At this point, and takes a pretty concerted effort to reverse the flow.
It does. That's why I think it's so important. That's part of the kindness extension towards ourselves. It's not just like, let's be kind to where we are today. Be kind with the slowness of this. Like, I think this is lifelong work to kind of undo this thinking.
So, okay, you've got a book coming out. It's called The Plan. You mentioned it a second ago. It comes out October 8th. And from the North Star maybe of this book is it's about time and time management and how and so I wonder if you included this in the writing, or maybe some principles that apply here. Something you mentioned a minute ago, I'd really like to hear you talk more about, which is this idea of the invisible labor, the labor that for the most part is heavily located on the women in the homes. The grocery store, we ran out of mustard. That's endless. And it's the side work, because most women work now. You said it a minute ago, the world's not the same as when our moms and and certainly our grandmas managed time. We have so much more to do, and yet some of those expectations have not shifted. And so I think I want to just hear you talk when it comes to managing time. And I'm on the tail end here. My youngest just graduated from high school. So some of that parenting home labor for me to some degree is a little bit in the rearview mirror. But when I think about those 2 decades, I could just break out in hives. I could literally break out in hives. The amount of management and the 3 a.m. brain, when me and me alone, I'm making the list. Here's all the things that have to be done tomorrow, by the next day, by Friday, by next Tuesday. Nobody else even has this thought.
Right.
This is a long intro. I don't know what my question is, but I wonder if you can fix this.
Here's
Is
the
this something you
question.
can solve for America?
How can we lazy genius systemic issues?
I mean, short of just marrying each other,
Sure.
like what
Yeah.
this division of labor thing is causing a lot of people to buckle.
I agree.
And
I agree.
understandably so.
It's crushing.
Yeah, it is. It's crushing. I feel it in my chest even just talking about it.
Here's my first answer, because I have not written my TED Talk yet about how to solve this for America.
Okay, well, you
I'll
still
work
have
on
time.
it.
Don't just keep that promise to yourself, please.
Set a goal.
Well done. Well done. One of the original 13 lazy genius principles, which is to start small, and which is the least popular of the 13 principles because it's the most annoying. She's deeply annoying. And yet she is like the kindest, sweetest, well-meaning principal, in that she's like, I know you hate me. I know you hate me, but I promise you this is the way. Like, this is what we do here. So I say that in this context because whenever we have systemic issues, you can't break down and rebuild an entire system in one go. No. And then keep it moving. When I say start small, I don't mean diminish the importance of how you're feeling about something. But we can't fix things in one huge fell swoop and even expect it to be sustainable either. So when we start small, when we take small steps in a direction that matters, we're able to iterate as we go. Now, it is not fun because, again, what is our goal? Greatness, optimization, ultimate efficiency in all things. Different goal, guys. Different goal now. Our goal is to be an integrated human today. That's our goal. So what does that mean? If it means that today you are realizing that you are sitting on the couch and you are the one who is folding the laundry and you're like, I always do this. I'm always the one to do this. You don't go, our family system is rotten to the core and we have to change everything. It's like, okay.
It's not a full yard sale
No,
at
it's
that
not.
moment.
It's not. I call that big black trash bag energy, where you're like, just throw everything in the big black trash bag and we're starting over, everyone. Get it together. That's not the energy that energy is a massacre. That energy does not solve problems. Energy that does solve problems, it is the least sexy of all the energies, but it is to start small. It is to sit there and perhaps you're folding the laundry and there's another human that you live with in the room. And you turn to them and you say, I'm currently flirting with resentment that I'm the one doing this and you're not helping me. Or that you didn't even think to do it because you passed by the laundry basket just like I did. And I don't want to resent you. So it's not that you need to do the laundry or that we need to come up with a new way to do laundry. But in this moment, I need you to see that this is hard. I think that has a lot more power than like a big laundry system that you still have to be the one to create and maintain.
That's right.
Those small steps of, man, how do we lazy genius these systemic mental load issues? One conversation at a time, one choice at a time, one invitation at a time, one encouragement at a time. And then after a while, this small step builds on that one and then builds on that one. And then you look back and you're like, this is a little bit of a system. Interesting. That's cool. We sort of slowly built this system. I'll give you a personal example. So I live in a home it's 5 of us in our home. We run out of things all the time. And what is so frustrating is, I am the one who, as far as division of labor goes, I am the one who oversees anything having to do with food and shopping. And when we run out of things, if a kid empties a bag of chips or they eat their last yogurt or whatever, there's no missing container anymore. It disappears. It's gone now. I don't know that it's gone. Now, I'm pretty good at that job, and so I do tend to know what we do run out of. But what we started to do, I was getting resentful that my kids were annoyed at me that we were out of yogurt. And I'm like, but you didn't, I didn't know. I don't eat the yogurt. You guys eat the yogurt. So we got to figure out a way for us to do this together. We got to work together in this. So we put up a cheap little dry erase board in the kitchen. And if somebody runs out of something, they write it on the board. We have just like a magnetic dry erase and we just write it on the board. And so if we've been doing that for years now. And do kids sometimes forget to write something on the board? Yes. And we now have language that if they're like, oh, we're out of so and such and such, we're out of tortilla chips. The other day we were out of tortilla chips and my 8-year-old daughter literally cried because she wanted them so badly. And we haven't been out of them probably since she was born. Like, it's just one of those things we always have. And she did not know how to manage that feeling of disappointment that there were no tortilla chips in the house. And
I mean, related.
Right.
So,
right.
Okay.
And so I was able to say to her in that moment, I know that's really disappointing. So the tortilla chips weren't written on the board and I didn't know they were gone. So next time, if you finish the bag, and she's not even tall enough to reach the board, like tell me and I'll write it on the board, or get your stool and you can write it on the board. Like, so it's encouraging everyone to sort of be part of the same work, but it's not a one and done thing. It's not it is small step after small step after small step. So then you trust them and you do them more and you become almost joyful about them to an extent. You don't resent the people in your house for not supporting the color-coded system that you built. Like, it is, I think we lazy genius it by taking one small, annoying, but not all, it will grow to be less annoying over time, step at a time.
One time, I think both of our preference sometimes would be just burn everything down.
Oh, 100%.
About this thing I don't like.
Yes. Everything
to the ground in ashes. And we will reconstruct a completely new building on this foundation using completely different material.
Yep.
And in a day. Today, we will build a whole new monument to the way we're going to do this. One time, this was years ago, back when I was still married, and we have 5 kids. And to your point, laundry is just a shit show. There's no other way to discuss laundry for 7 people in a small house.
It's not fair, really.
No, it's not fair. And
Laundry's not fair.
Why? But it was just, as you can imagine, entirely out of control. Just entirely out of control. It was just clothes forever and in every state. Dirty, wet, dry, unfolded, not put away all the time. And I think what the textbooks would call a meltdown about it one day, and just a meltdown. I mean, I just went on a screaming rage through the home, which is useful and helpful. And people are responsive to it in a positive way. Just screaming rage, incandescent. And the next thing I know, you might remember this. Brandon, who I was married to at the time, just is gone. He just grabs his keys. He's gone. I'm like, well, that's nice. Bye. I'll just stand here. I'll be here with the clothes and these horrible children that God gave me. This is 30 minutes later, he comes in the door from the Walmart and he had constructed a new system in his head in which I don't know how to explain it because it didn't work very long. But what it involved for our family was 28 full-size color-coded laundry baskets.
Stop
28
it right now.
I will not stop it.
I remember this.
And it was a whole situation. The children had to attend a tutorial.
Yeah, that's psychotic.
And there were laundry baskets literally everywhere. I mean, our house is little. There was a laundry basket in every corner of the home. And I'm just saying that a small step would have been useful.
Sure.
Something smaller than 28 laundry baskets.
But you know what I felt like?
What?
This is the solution. I also need to go get 28 laundry baskets.
It felt like just scorched earth in a way that I thought, well, now we'll have it solved.
Right.
We didn't. We just had laundry baskets everywhere. So
We just need to, I can't put it into words, but we just need to be so much kinder
yes.
and less rigid in everything. My story of this is I created a grocery list, sort of. Now I'm going to go home and get a whiteboard so people can just write down that we're out of tortilla chips. But I mean, this was probably 12 years ago. I created a spreadsheet grocery list in order of the aisles, and I typed in everything that we eat and then printed them out, like 30 copies, and put them on the magnet board, like with the bulldog clip, and said, when you use the last of something, when we run out, circle that item on this list, and it's laid out in store order, and that way anybody could go to the grocery store. And actually, at the time, I had a friend who grocery shopped for me.
Oh my God.
I know, when I had a tiny baby. So this was 15 years ago. Anyway, it was created for a really good reason. But then my HEB remodeled.
Well, I'm sorry. Put that whole thing in the trash.
And put things in different locations, and I'm still paralyzed. I still don't have a grocery list.
Oh, well.
Like,
Small. Listen to what Kendra's telling us. How about not all that?
it's still saved in a spreadsheet.
Right.
I keep it. To taunt me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Delete that.
Well,
When I first met Amy, Kendra,
Yeah.
the first time I ever met her in our whole lives, which was 15 years ago, and was in the weeds with a bunch of little babies and little boys everywhere, and she showed me, I did not know her and she did not know me. I was a stranger at her home that she invited over, and she showed me her spreadsheet that had her children's days chunked out in 10-minute increments. 15 minutes. Oh my God. And rather than give her the compassion for her sense of clear overwhelm, I tore it with my hands. I'm like, we're not even going to talk about this. This is not our conversation today. Rip. Like, you can't live like this. I won't allow it. But
here's what I would like to offer to both of you and to everyone listening. But what happens is we have in our heads this picture of what the best day is. This is how a day as a mom of many humans is supposed to go. They are relatively compliant and they get along with each other. You make dinner, you make a homemade dinner. The house is picked up. There's nothing undone, right? You might even be wearing lipstick. Look at that. Like, there is this expectation. It's the same thing where the goal is wrong. There is an expectation that every day is supposed to come as close as possible to matching that day. If, again, your goal is, let's meet this ideal situation, we need to come as close as possible, and I'm really far from it right now, so I'm trash, and life is trash, and we're going to burn it down. Those reactions make sense if that's how you see your life, because that's how we've been taught to see our life. So change your expectation. Don't worry about changing your behaviors right away. Change your expectation.
fix that North Star.
That's right, man.
Just change the culture in your own brain.
Yes.
In your own brain.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we can't keep you on here forever. I mean,
I get real fiery when I talk about this stuff. I'm sorry.
I mean, like, I want to. We've got questions. We've got more, but we do want to hear you just tell our listeners before we do let you go, just a little bit more about the plan.
Yeah.
Your new book,
Yes.
Labor of Love,
Yes.
as they all are.
Yes.
But I'm going to go ahead and say something you said earlier before we're recording, which was you think this is the best book you've ever written.
Oh, yeah, a lot.
And that is a big thing to say. And I love it. And so we want to hear you explain to us about this incredible project.
Well, if you resonated with anything I said in this conversation, you're going to love this book because the first part of it is really setting this up. The problem is not you. It's not. The problem is the water we swim in that no one seems to talk about. And we have to rethink this first. We have to change the principles around how we see our time first. But then what's so fun is the second half of the book is how you do that. It's like full of strategies. So part one of the plan is the principles, explaining how to think. And part two is the strategies of how to like literally like, okay, how can I plan a day? Can I plan a week? How do I plan a project? How do I look at my season? Because we still have to get stuff done. This is not just like a rah go team. Like you're so pretty. I mean, you are, but like you still have your list. We need a more versatile, fluid way of doing things around time, because time also is versatile and fluid and changes, and our seasons change and the people around us are changing. So we need strategies that actually work for that kind of life, for the life that we really are all living. So that's the second half of the plan. And then part three of the plan is just a series of pep talks. It's like a page when you're just feeling, so they're labeled with, the titles of the pep talks are things that you need. So it's like when you don't have any help, when you're just feeling, when you want to burn everything down, it's like, okay, let me read this first. Just read this first before you burn everything down. And then maybe you won't burn everything down and you won't be living in a home of piles or a home of 28 color-coded laundry baskets. Let's just start from a different location. It comes out October 8th. And so I'm just like, I really can't wait for people to start actually reading it because I really think it's dramatic. It's a dramatic phrase. And I sound like the ShamWow guy, but I really think it'll change your life. Truly.
I can't wait. I need it now.
So
that's right.
We're excited. We're excited for this book. We're excited for you. This is very much your ethos. You're the one.
That's right.
You're the one. Thanks for being on our show.
Thank you for having
you.
me. This was so lovely.
Always good to see you. And it needs to be more than once every 4 weeks.
100% agree with this. Yes.
Okay. And I will just refer back to my once a week offer that I just made and just say, maybe there's something in the middle.
Maybe
I don't
there
know,
is.
but
I think in between 1 week and 4 years. Again,
That's
the
right.
polls. We have lots of space in between those two polls,
That's right.
so we'll find
Let's
something.
work it out. Let's work it out. Okay. Cheering for
Thanks,
you.
y'all.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, you guys, that was the fantastic Kendra Adachi. Just like, I like her brain. I like her personality. I like her way. She's got a really awesome body of work too. Like some of her, I've been listening to her and learning from her for years. So have you. So if you go over to jenhatmaker.com under the podcast tab, we will have, first of all, this whole episode. If you want to share it, it's a good share. And show notes. And I'll also round up all the links for you, like all of her socials, her new book, her previous books, her website, just all the stuff. So you can just one click and you got it. And I look forward to having this conversation in our community too, this gentler, more compassionate way to manage our busy lives, because we have to manage them. We do not get to opt out, but I really like this. I like the guardrails she sets up of just compassion and kindness. Anyway, she was great.
I like her guardrails, her systems, her work. I also like how she treats herself.
Me too. Me too.
She's kind.
She's kind.
To herself first.
Good point.
And then she can be kind to all of us.
Yeah, I love it. All right, you guys. You just would not believe how many incredible episodes we have coming up on this show. Truly. I mean, we're like, we're just texting each other like, okay, like just, you're not going to want to miss
Bonkers.
any of it. So be sure you've subscribed to the show wherever you get your podcast. Just go get it, go listen, hit subscribe. That will take you 3 seconds. And then this show will just pop up for you week after week, and you never have to go find it. It will be there for you. And I'm just telling you right now, you're not going to want to miss just this kind of season. So, okay, that's it, you guys. We're glad you're here. Thanks for listening. Love
for
you.
listening.
See you next week.
Bye.